Hi everyone. Today I want to talk about arguing. Do you argue in front of your children? Do you not argue in front of your children? What are the dimensions involved in making a decision basically about whether to do it, not to do it? How do you do it if you do? Um, Personally, my partner and I agreed to not hide it when we are having an argument or a heated discussion. Um, because already when our son was very young, a baby, he had a very keen sense of awareness in terms of what is I'm personally going through, what is my husband going through, and where even he would pick up on it much earlier than we did. That through his behavior, him being suddenly super fussy for no apparent reason, that I actually saw for a moment like, oh crap, he's actually showing me something. He's actually mirroring something that's going on inside myself that I'm not dealing with. And yeah, so he kind of showed that nothing's really hidden. We parents may think that if we keep our poker faces up, that our children have no idea what's going on, and we can kind of keep them safe from our emotional turmoils or disagreements while we are busy working them out with our partner. But there was a time where I did consider, like, okay, I don't want to argue in front of my son Caesar because I don't want him to see us in this way. I don't want him to think it's okay to just like argue and have conflict, and that I don't want conflict to be the example of what it means to be together in a relationship. But then I was still carrying those charges, the resentment, anger, whatever I was going through towards my partner. I was still carrying that within me. And that energy just being kind of stuck in my body, because now I can see my partner, he can see me, but we're not going to do it in front of our child because it's just going to be awkward and we don't want him to see that. Even though we're hiding it and we're not verbally expressing it, it's there. It's in our body language. It's in how we will respond to our son dropping a toy and having to pick it up. We'll be more snappy. Um, or, just pick up that toy and put it on his table slightly harder than you're used to. Small little things where your children can pick up on there's something not right here. And if you look at the whole argument point from your child's perspective, where they're actually very aware of what's going on inside the parents, what you're doing is actually quite silly by not opening things up for discussion, even if things get heated in front of your child, because you're just building and building and building, and your child knows there's stuff going on, but you're not dealing with it. And that's why we moved to just get it out, talk about it, get it over with. It doesn't matter if he's there, because other point people may have concerns about is like, well, if I'm going to be like all emotional around my child might be affected by those emotional outbursts and stuff. Well, arguments aren't pretty. Discussions, heated discussions, they're not pretty, but they're gonna happen. We are not living in a perfect world. No one's in a perfect relationship. No one's a perfect parent. No one's a perfect child. There's gonna be rifts. There's gonna be challenges. And your child's also gonna have to learn how to deal with that. And that's not gonna happen by protecting them from conflict. Conflict is everywhere around us. If you look at the state of the world, economy, politics, environment, nature, everything, it's kind of like, chronic thing is conflict everywhere. So it's very important that you don't like hide conflict from them. And I'm not saying like deliberately create conflict, because obviously then you're just causing shit with your child and they're not going to trust you because you're just making things up to make a point instead of using a real life example and working through it to make a point. um, yeah, so The important part is not that, or the point of focus should not be that you're gonna have an argument, you're gonna have a heated discussion. What I focus on when I have a discussion is that, and my son is there, is that I stabilize myself as much as possible. I try to keep things as impersonal as possible. Um, if things get a bit heated, okay, fine. It may happen, it just, if you've been bottling things up, it's gonna come out. But we always focus on walking an argument through to a conclusion, to a solution, to a new direction, an agreement that we both agree on, so that the point of focus doesn't become the conflict. The point of focus for my child and what he can learn from observing the parents being in conflict is, how can I walk from a point of conflict to a point of resolution and peace? How do my parents look at things? How do they make decisions so that conflicts and arguments is not something that they become afraid of, but through example learn how to work through it. Your child learns that conflicts, arguments is nothing to be afraid of. There is a way through this. I can work through conflict, and it's gonna be not nice for a moment, but at the end, when it's done, and I have a new direction, I know what to do, and there's peace. So that entering an argument and going into conflict is also not something they become afraid of, because so many people, will be afraid to, because that's actually also what you're implying when you're hiding the fact that you're arguing, that there's conflict. You're making an implicit statement that this is too much for you, towards your child. You can't handle this. And that's why I'm not doing it in front of you. And over the years, if that keeps happening, that message gets imprinted over and over in a child, and he's not going to be comfortable in an argument, in conflict. If someone, wrongs your child in one way or another, or says something about them that's inaccurate, they're not going to want to place themselves in that position of going into an argument and voicing themselves, because in the back of their heads they've already decided through experiences as a child that it's not good. I need to avoid this. I can't handle this. So there's really quite a bit of dimensions that come with a simple point of deciding whether or not you are going to argue in front of your child. And I think in a way it's good to have your child around, because they keep you honest, because maybe you get into that argument and you're like ready to fight, but your child is there. They are busy watching this. So even if you can't do it for yourself, you do it for your child. You take that moment to just breathe, okay, calm down, and you bring it, you kind of make a commitment to whatever happens, whatever opens up, whatever we say to one another, we're going to bring this to a solution. And if you give your child that skill, that is so valuable. And that's something they're going to learn from a lot more than hiding it from them. Because they're not going to learn the skills on how to deal with conflict. They know stuff is going on with you. Even older children, walls are not that thick. They hear you shout and scream, and they pick up on things. They hear you on the phone. They're not stupid. So it's going to create distrust as well. So here's some of the dimensions I looked at in terms of to argue, not to argue. If you do it, how do you do it? Of arguing in front of children. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you have any comments, please post them. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.